Hello beautiful and welcome back to my channel, and welcome to this video where we are going to talk about the fact that Makeup Revolution might be in trouble. Some news are coming out about the brand that makes it seem like maybe everything is just not going all dandy over at the brand. So we're going to discuss the articles that I've read. I'm going to let you know what I think about the situation, and then you can let me know down in the comments what you think about the situation. And if you haven't been here before, if this is your first video here, hello, my name is Angie. I am such a lover of beauty and makeup. I love everything beauty and makeup related, and I love discussing industry news if it's something that I feel is large enough and something that I feel like I have opinions about. So if you're interested in seeing more videos about that or just videos about beauty as a whole, don't forget to subscribe because I upload 5 videos a week. I actually did start filming this video and then I realized that my audio settings was wrong. So I had to restart because you weren't going to be able to hear what I was saying. So we're gonna do it again. I just wanted to say that I actually do only own 3 products from Makeup Revolution. On all 3 of those products I've bought this year. I might own a brow pencil too now that I think of it. I don't know where that one is. But the thing is that I have reviewed probably 50 Makeup Revolution things on my channel, or at least owned and used. I don't know if I've made dedicated videos about it since I started on YouTube, but all of them have been decluttered, which is one of the things we're going to be talking about in this video. I am wearing the IRL Filter foundation from Revolution Beauty. This is a fairly new thing and I'm wearing it in F7. And this, you can tell, this is at least a shade too light for me. And this is described as for medium skin tones with a neutral undertone. I am not even a medium, but sometimes I have to buy a medium, and I know that Makeup Revolution sometimes goes a little light in their shade descriptions, but I am not. How is a medium too light for me? That is a problem. I am in no way, shape, or form darker than the medium. I'm not even a medium. I would say that I'm a light medium when I get a bit of tan. But how is this too light for me? I don't understand. I'm gonna bronze it up a little bit though, but yeah, I've been adding that one and I've been using a little bit of concealer. I will link everything that I'm using down in the description box. I don't know how much I'm gonna be talking about the makeup because I want to talk about the news. So let me I'm gonna do my brows and then we can zoom in and just talk about this article. I saw it over at Jen Loves in her beauty segment. She has a What's Up in Makeup every Sunday. It is fairly similar to my new makeup releases that I have on Fridays, but she usually talks about sales and also industry news, and I like to do dedicated videos on industry news if I feel like it's something that's interesting enough that I want to talk about it. And I want to talk about this because I have a lot of thoughts. Let's dive in to what the article says. I'm going to be using the new cream bronzer by Revolution Beauty that I just recently got into my collection, which is probably the best product they've ever done that I've tried, while I read this article to you. Revolution Beauty share price tumbles as auditors downgrade profit. Having warned investors that its 21-22 results would be delayed and downgraded, its 2022-2023 forecast, Revolution Beauty share prices has tumbled, according to a report published by UK Investor magazine. Now, in another blow to the makeup manufacturer, its auditors have significantly reduced its estimated pre-tax profit. Basically, the auditors took a look at the brand and the profit that they were saying that they were going to do in 2021, 2022, and they were like, nah, we don't think so. And they lowered the estimated profit, which is never a good sign. Auditors have raised accounting issues including revenue recognition, bad debt provisions, and stock provisions with management, which could have a material impact on FY results. FY is fiscal year, basically like the yearly result. Let's just put it in business terms. Sending shares down from 8.2p, a far cry from the 160p at flotation just over a year ago. So the stocks were at 160 a year ago and now they're at 8.2. That is a nosedive. And that probably points to some of the things that the auditors found when they were looking through the brand. Revolution Beauty has stressed that its net debt position remains unaltered by any changes and has been at pains to point out that it has sufficient liquidity thanks to its £40 million revolving credit facility. And that is basically meaning that they have a bank that has promised them a credit of £40 million should they need it, should they be in need of that kind of a money. So they're like, no, we're doing fine, because if we weren't doing fine, we still have this money from this bank that they have promised us should we need it. However, poor retail demands in the US That's something we're going to talk about. And the loss of sales in Russia and Ukraine, for obvious reasons, have impacted results. By the way, none of the products that I'm using today is a first impression except the highlighter that we're going to be using. All of these other products I have used before, but I'm in the process of reviewing them, so I'm just putting them on again. But the highlighter is actually a first impression, so that one we are gonna talk a little bit once we get there. I was sitting down this morning and doing a little bit of research of this, and like I said, I saw this at Jen Loves, and I also saw that she had a live show about this. I didn't watch that one because I didn't want to be influenced by what her opinions about the situation, but I will leave a link to both of those down below in case you want to have a peek at it. And I found this morning when I was doing additional research about this, I found another article at the same place that was published today on the 22nd. Is it even 22nd? Yes. It was published today on the 22nd, which says Boohoo, which is an online fast fashion brand based, I think, in the UK, buys a minority stake in Revolution Beauty. So I'm guessing they saw this opportunity and they were like, I guess we could now, when the stock prices are this low, we could probably buy a stake in this company. And the article says Boohoo has snapped up a 7.1% stake in Revolution Beauty, according to a statement posted on its website. The fashion retailer sells the mass market makeup brand's products via its websites and online digital department store Debenhams. Following this acquisition, Boohoo is now Revolution's fourth largest shareholder. And I did look into who the other shareholders are at Revolution Beauty, and the only ones I recognized were the founder and the chairman, the head chairman. Business terms. All the other ones seems to be just investment companies. Basically, they were one in the Cayman Islands. You get the gist of the kind of companies that were having shares in this company. With Revolution Beauty's shares plummeting on the back of its auditors discovering accounting discrepancies, that does not sound good. Boohoo has presumably secured a deal. The company says in a statement, the investment builds upon the existing relationship between Boohoo and Revolution Beauty, and the investment reflects Boohoo's belief in the growth potential of Revolution Beauty and intend to be a supportive stakeholder and a long-term partner, whatever that means. Whatever that means. But I thought it was really interesting that now that the stock is plummeting, new people are coming in and being like, maybe I want to share in this. Maybe I want to share in this, huh? So yeah, I thought that this was just really, really interesting. And I thought we could talk about what does this mean? And what could it mean for the future of the brand? And why do I think that they're having some problems with what the site before said? And let me phrase, poor retail demands in the US. Let's discuss. So I'm guessing the profit that Makeup Revolution or Revolution Beauty, I'm going to use them interchangeably just so you know, I'm guessing the profit that they were thinking that they were going to have this year just isn't coming to fruition. And just the fact that auditors had to come in and be like, this doesn't seem right, because like you can't just be telling your stockholders that like, oh, we're expecting this profit if there's actually no numbers to back up that that's like actually gonna happen. So I find it very interesting that the brand themselves had to go in and be like, no, nothing's happening, nothing's going wrong, everything's going A-okay. That is my dog snoring, if you heard that. And the fact that the stock market was like, this seems fishy, and the stock plummeted. The way that Makeup Revolution is valued today, in comparison to how it was valued just a year ago, does really say something when it comes to business. We're going to be using the Oracle Chrome highlighter palette. This is from Bella Beauty Bar. I was sent this in PR. These are like duochrome, multichrome highlighters, like colored highlighters. I do have a code with them. I'll leave them below. If I have any codes with any of these other things, or if I got them in PR, I will put everything in the description box, all the info and links and all of that. I'll just put up some swatches quickly so you can see how this looks. This is just going to be me doing a first impression of this little thingamajig. I just want to use it. I'm so intrigued by this. I recently got it in the mail and I just want to try it. I'm just going to do a little setting spray before. Well, this isn't a setting spray. This is a finishing spray, actually. It's from LH Cosmetics. But I don't know exactly what I want to do. The lovers seem like a pink to a gold. The sun seems like a gold to a peach. Maybe I'll do that one. Yeah, I think I'll do the sun on my cheeks. And we'll use one of the shades on my eyes as well. Oh, wow. Wow. Like, you've seen the swatches, and hopefully I was able to show you in the swatches. But this is a very incredible formula. These would be so good on the eyes too. Because it's like a fiery, like you can see a little bit here. It's like a very fiery peach going to a gold. Okay, that is even prettier than I thought, and I'm so happy I took this together with the orange blush. Oh, that's so pretty. I feel like with Makeup Revolution, and this is what I think about plummeting sales. I think a lot of makeup companies are struggling with plummeting sales, if I'm going to be honest, because there's just too many makeup brands on the market. But that also means that you have to, oh my god, something is itching. You have to stand out when it comes to the makeup industry. And it basically comes down to how are people gonna remember you? How are people gonna remember you when they are at the store and there are so many brands, and online there are even more brands? How are they gonna remember you? And I think when it comes to Makeup Revolution, everybody keeps talking about them. Oh, they're so accessible and they're so cheap. Like, it's a brand that's affordable and you can like buy so many things, but the quality isn't there. I've tried so many things from Makeup Revolution over so many years, and most of the time it's just pretty either meh or subpar. It just doesn't hold a candle, according to me, to a lot of the other brands in a fairly similar price bracket. And for that reason, Makeup Revolution becomes the cheap, accessible brand that is extremely hit or miss. Leaning on the miss, if I'm gonna be honest, because I think a lot of people that love makeup probably have a similar experience to me. That there are so many things to choose from and they're so affordable. But the thing is that if you buy 10 things, you're probably gonna hate 8 of them. One of them is like meh, and one of them is good. And that is too bad of a ratio for you to, this is the one that's making sounds, for you to want to bet your money on that again. Because even if they're only a couple of dollars a pop, that's still money. That's still money that you could be doing more fun stuff with than buying makeup that just isn't that good. And I feel like how I have heard people talk about Makeup Revolution these past couple of years, and I'm not saying everyone, I'm saying like in overall, just cutting through like the middle. How I've heard people talk about this brand has been, it's affordable, it's accessible, but unfortunately most of the things are not good quality. And I'm not saying this to be like mean, because I constantly, this is too big of a brush for this, I'm gonna have to change this up. I constantly buy stuff from Makeup Revolution because I want to like it. Like, I bought this foundation, it's just a little bit too light and it doesn't hold up in this humid weather, but the finish of it is beautiful, and this bronzer is wonderful. But then I bought this highlighter and it's so bad that I don't understand how it was even made. And I've said this before, I feel like Makeup Revolution's products a lot of the time feel half finished. It feels rushed, like they had a good idea. Oh, let's do a liquid concealer that's similar to those components that my more high-end brands have with the puff. And let's try and do that at an affordable price. And then they just stop halfway. They're too stressed and they release it. And their products just end up being gimmicky. Like, they are so good for making content, but at the end of the day, the people that are making content with them, they don't recommend them because they're just not a really good product. Of course, there are like stuff with this that of course there are exceptions to this rule, but it's the same with their like collabs that they're doing. Most people agree that, yeah, every blue moon they'll hit a good stride with the collection and they'll release something that people think are really good. But in the same vein as ColourPop, but I feel like ColourPop and Makeup, people always compare them, and I don't think they're really comparable, because when it comes to Makeup Revolution, they will have a collab or two, because they have so many sub-brands as well. They will literally release sometimes 2 to 5 collections a week, and it just becomes stressful. And you're probably thinking, what do you mean? You talk about Makeup Revolution less often than you talk about ColourPop. And it's like, yeah, because I'm so overwhelmed with all the news with Makeup Revolution, and there are so many news that I don't feel like they themselves are able to really market them. Did this have a little purple in it? I think so. That's That's not good now, is it? And I feel like it ends up being this kind of a cycle where they just keep coming up with new stuff so often that they themselves can't really market it. And that also comes down to like their PR list and stuff like that. Even a brand like ColourPop that has a release week, they will still send out PR, and some people will get every PR thing and they will be able to do something with it. When it comes to Makeup Revolution, I don't think that they send out everything they have to PR to anyone because it's just too much and too overwhelming. You would literally get packages or big packages for Makeup Revolution each week. And if you think the collections from ColourPop are big and often, that is nothing compared to how big and how often the collections are for Makeup Revolution. And that is a hill I'm gonna die on. Because there are a lot of brands that release a lot of stuff. Not just ColourPop. There are a lot of brands that release a lot of stuff. But Makeup Revolution will release a big collection with 4 palettes and like maybe it's 15 things in the collection, and then next week they will release another collection with another 15 things in. And it just ends up being too much, and you end up realizing that a lot of these things were probably very rushed because how could they not be? How could they not be? It's impossible to perfect everything when you're releasing that amount of products every week. And in the same vein, I feel like Revolution Beauty, since the absolute beginning, have been so focused on expanding. Being in more countries, having a bigger like gondola, being in the most stores. They are in so many stores and they have so big gondolas. Like all the Ultas that I've been to here in the US have really big Makeup Revolution gondolas. My Target has a huge 2-sided gondola with Makeup Revolution. Like I see it everywhere. And even in Europe, they can have so big gondolas with so many products, and it's intense and it's just a lot. And when you compare the gondola at my Target with Makeup Revolution with, for example, e.l.f. or even L'Oreal, the Makeup Revolution one is twice as big because they have so many products, and it just becomes a lot and a little bit stressful. And all of these sub-brands that they kept doing, because I'm guessing they were like, oh, we signed a contract with Ulta to have Makeup Revolution. Oh, but we also want to be in this store. So they have to have another brand to be in this store. And like, I'm guessing in the UK as well, like, oh, we signed a contract with Boots to be with Makeup Revolution. And then they have I Heart Revolution, and they have the XX Revolution, and they had the Freedom Makeup for a bit, and they have this the cheaper one that's maximum of $10 or something, and they had that greenwashing one. Like, they have so many sub-brands, and I understand the whole sub-brand thing. Like, just look at Fenty. Fenty has Fenty Skin, Fenty Makeup, and now they're doing Fenty Hair. I feel like that makes sense. And Revolution has Revolution Skincare, and that makes perfect sense to me. But all of these other ones, they just don't. They just don't make sense to me. You don't need to have this many sub-brands, and especially when all of the sub-brands kind of has the same things. And none of the brands are really nailing anything, really having any kind of consistent good quality or getting consistently good reviews. It just ends up being a little crazy, because even fashion brands will have smaller, like look at Prada. Prada has a more youthful, less expensive, but still very expensive sub-brand that is Miu Miu. Look at like Calvin Klein has the CK Jeans, Armani has the Armani Exchange. Like, there are so many sub-brands to expensive brands that are meant for a younger or a like less expensive stuff. Like, there are so many. Like Isabel Marant has the Isabel Marant Etoile, which is also a sub-brand. Like, that is nothing new, but for an already very affordable brand to have sub-brands that fill no real purpose. They're trying to explain what they're doing, but it just doesn't really make sense. Even for me that like really loves makeup and report on makeup and use makeup so often, even for me, I look at it, I'm like bewildered. I'm like, you didn't need this many brands, and the more brands you launch, the bigger like your product library becomes. The more products you have to have in stock, the more things you have to produce. Can you imagine Can you imagine how their showroom looks, how their warehouse looks? Like, it makes me stressed just thinking about it. And all the products as a brand that you have on the shelf that is unsold is money that is tied up in products that you cannot get back until you sold it to anyone. You have to sell it to someone. Even if you end up selling it to TJ Maxx, at least you're getting some money back, because as long as they're on the shelf, they're tied up in that product. Now we come to one of those things that has more to do with feelings. And Makeup Revolution could just never really shake or shrug off this copycat branding that they had. People just don't like Makeup Revolution. And especially they're trying sometimes to be nice to brands that they like, that Makeup Revolution has copied. Like smaller brands even like Lunar Beauty, and big brands like Too Faced, like they have literally copied every big brand that's out there. Huda Beauty so many times. And even if I don't necessarily think that that's really what they're doing right now, there was a time in Makeup Revolution's history, and this is how they got to be famous. This is how people knew about them. This is how people heard about them. They were the brand that was doing straight up copies of really well-known products at a cheaper price, and usually not as good quality, even though I feel like a lot of reviewers were like, oh, it's just as good. It wasn't just as good. It was good for the price, but it was never the same quality. Some things that they did really, really good was that they were doing powder, blushes, highlighters, and bronzers really good, but they were milking that concept as well, and they were just coming out with so many things. At a point, I think they had like 12 chocolate bar palettes. And you're probably thinking, well, how can that be a copycat? There's not even 12 chocolate bar palettes. I agree. That's the whole problem. They were literally having really good ideas of things that they could do. And instead of doing it as their own thing, starting their own trends, they were still packaging them in those chocolate bar palettes, calling them cherry chocolate or whatever chocolate at that point, because they were really running out of ideas, and just continuing to look like a copycat brand, even though the color story was clearly their own. Because like Too Faced never did a strawberry chocolate or a cherry chocolate. They did like red velvet cake. Like they did so many actually kind of good ideas, but they couldn't shake off the copycat thing because they kept releasing them in that copycat packaging that they have, let's be honest, kind of stolen from Too Faced. And even now, I still see comments when I'm talking about Makeup Revolution saying, I will never support a brand that's stolen from other brands. And I think that even though they started out like that, it is hard to get recognition and respect in the community when you made money out of other people's ideas. And I don't think there's anything wrong with being inspired by other people or reading a trend and being like, remember when Modern Renaissance or 35O was popular? Every brand released a palette that had some kind of a burgundy pink in it, or a palette that had like warm browns and an orange, because that was the trend. But they didn't make an exact copy of the 35O and release that. And for Makeup Revolution, nothing was holy. They were copying indie brands, they were copying expensive brands, they were copying, like they were even copying Morphe. They're at the same price range. They're at the same price range instead of trying to come up with something that could be their thing, that could be their own thing. And not until they, oh, there's a floof here, and not until they started doing all of these weird collabs, everything from Simpsons to cereal, did they start doing stuff that was more like their own and being more talked about that than their copycat. But is it better to go from being a copycat brand to being the brand that will collab with everyone and anyone at least 3 to 4 times a month? I don't know if that's the journey that we wanted to see. I'm going to be applying a little bit of this lip plumper by Tarte. These are just so beautiful. It smells like coconuts. Love it! Here's the thing, and here's what I think about this whole plummeting sales in the US. I think that when Makeup Revolution came here, a lot of people were super excited, because for a really long time, Makeup Revolution is a UK-based brand. You had to buy it from the UK website. It wasn't like really available here, and then it came to Ulta, and now they have the US website, and like People were excited about shopping from this brand that was so affordable and they had so many options, and people were just excited. And here's the thing though, you can't just be accessible and affordable and have a lot of products. You also have to be good, because no one's gonna come back to your brand if they try it out and they realize this wasn't really a good formula. It's a cute packaging, it's a nice collab, oh my god, I love this collab, and you get it home and it looks cute, but it just doesn't perform. You're not gonna come back to that brand. You just aren't. That's just the name of the game. What gets customers to come back to your brand and buy from your brand again, it's not the packaging, it is not the prices, it is the performance of the product. Because in the US, in opposite to how it is in Europe, there is actually more brands at a similar price point that has higher quality products. Just look at Colourpop, Elf, Wet n Wild. Look at even Morphe. I mean, I don't love Morphe's products, but a lot of people do, and it seems to be a consensus that people prefer the Morphe quality over the Makeup Revolution quality. There are just too many brands in that bracket to choose from, and when you put them all next to each other, Makeup Revolution just doesn't live up to what the other brands are doing. And a couple of years ago, some of these brands did not have good quality either. And people were like, yeah, Wet n Wild and Elf. I mean, they're affordable, but at the end of the day, they're not really good quality. But both of those brands have really stepped it up. I mean, Elf right now is really talked about as a brand with good quality. And they stepped it up. And I think that what Makeup Revolution maybe needs to do is to be like, it is not enough to just be cheap, to just have a lot to choose from, to just be accessible. If the products aren't good, you're not gonna have returning customers. And there are people out there that probably gonna watch this and be like, no, Makeup Revolution is my favorite brand. I love everything from the brand. And I am not saying that you are wrong and that you are lying or that you do not know makeup. I'm just saying that we probably have different makeup preferences. I'm just saying how the talk is around the internet. On the internet, which is where I'm at, and in the comments from my viewers, which is what I see, the consensus seems to be that yes, they have some cute collabs, they release a lot of stuff, it is accessible and it is cheap, but the quality isn't there. You never know what you're gonna get. It is literally a game of, it's a raffle. You buy a bunch of stuff, hoping that one of them is gonna work out. And for me as a beauty YouTuber, that can work out. I can buy a lot of stuff, I can try them out, and I can see if they work. I'm gonna use this one, it's called High Priestess. I think that's gonna be good, I have no idea. And if it doesn't work out, it's still a video. But for you that is out there buying makeup, when you're standing in Target or when you're standing at Ulta and you look at two brands and you have a good track record with one of them and a kind of a lousy track record with the other one. Oh, look at this highlighter. You're gonna go with the one that's the safest bet. Because like I've said before, yes, $10 is only $10, but $10 can get you a really nice coffee or a really nice ice cream or a pair of shorts. I mean, that can get you something instead of gambling and buying something from a brand where you usually get duds. And again, I'm not saying that everything from Makeup Revolution is duds. I don't even think that myself. But they have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of products and nobody can try everything. Like imagine just as a YouTuber, when I buy a collection to review, if there's a fun collab coming out or a fun collection that's coming out and me as a YouTuber, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna get that and I'm gonna review it. If it's Colourpop, at the most, it's gonna be 8-10 items. That is a big collection. And I'm gonna be like, okay, that's a lot of items, but I can do that. I can do 10 items. I can swatch it. I can make a video. I can let you know which items are the best. When it comes to Makeup Revolution, that sometimes can be 15, 20 items. And you're like, that's too much. It could be 4 eyeshadow palettes. That's committing. That's over committing as a YouTuber. I can't make a video about that because people, if they want to see like a review of a collection, they want to see the entire collection. But it's going to take me too long time to do like review 4 different eyeshadow palettes. So you end up overcommitting, and for me as a YouTuber then, I'm just like, no, I'm just gonna sit this one out. Because that is just too much. But please let me know what you have tried from the brand that you've really been enjoying. I don't think that Makeup Revolution is going under, but I do think that this is gonna end up being a wake-up call for the brand. Basically being like, if we are gonna fight on the American market, or if we're gonna fight in the market where it is right now, where a lot of people are actually buying their makeup online, that's actually something that really changed during COVID, that a lot of people started buying their makeup online. There are statistics for this. If they're gonna fight in that market, they have to not only be as fun and as accessible and as affordable as their competitor, they have to have the same quality as well. They have to come back, or even maybe for the first time, come to a place with the brand where people are like, if I buy something from this brand, I'm probably gonna like it. And that's not how people feel right now about the brand. They're like, I'll buy it because it's a fun packaging and I'm a collector. I might not like it though, but yeah, let me know what you think. Let me know what you think. I just think the competition in their price bracket has been too much for them these past years, and for that reason they have fallen behind, because there are just a lot of competitors. There are fairly good affordable makeup right now, both in store and online, and it's hard to compete with that if your competitors are getting good reviews and you just are not. Okay, I have a cuddle bug here that just does not want to be on the floor. No, mama, I'm a cuddle bug. So we're gonna end the video like this. This is Kaisa, the dog that we just adopted. And she's, yes, a little tired, but a little cuddly. Yes. Okay, we're gonna go cuddle after this. I just want to end the video by saying that I don't think that Makeup Revolution is going bankrupt. I don't think the brand is going under, but there definitely is signs of trouble at the horizon when the auditors is coming in and being just like, and yes, honey, yes, yes, thank you so much. And just being like, no, that's not the profit you're gonna have. The math ain't mathing. Basically, that's what the auditors came in and said. The math ain't mathing, and we need to have a look at this, and we need to change the numbers. And when the stock is plummeting like that, it does say something. Oh, yes, we're gonna go cuddle after this, I promise. And I feel like this could be the turning point for Makeup Revolution or Revolution Beauty, where they have to be like, what's really working in our brand? What's really making us money? Which are the markets that we should be in? Should we really try and compete with everyone and anything? Should we really be the brand that has the most products, the most brands? Like, is that what you want to be? Because I feel like they have the exact same peachy and like blush and bronzer range in all of their brands. They just keep releasing the exact same color stories in palettes, and they keep calling it Catwoman and chocolate cereal and Looney Tunes, and it's like, stop. What is gonna make people want to buy more stuff from you if it's just the same bullshit again and again and again? I don't know what you want, sweetie. Okay, thank you. That was minty gloss. Did you like it? Okay, this is turning into a circus. I'm gonna go cuddle with this cuddle bug. Let me know what you think down below. Let me know what you think that the brand should do. Are you licking my boob now? Let me know what you think that the brand should do to come back. For me, what I think is less products and spend more time on each product. Actually perfect the product. Actually let the whole project like reach the end, so that you can release something that you're proud of, that people like, and that makes them feel like, I'm gonna keep my eye on this brand. This was good quality. I might want to buy something more, because that's not how people feel right now. Okay, I hope you're having an amazing day, and I will see you again tomorrow for a new video. Bye!